All right, so we're going to put in a shelf here for ladies or even men if they wanted, I guess, to put their leg in shave. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right in the center of these tiles. First thing, I'll put a little tape here. And I know that's just rough. I'm going to measure it and make sure we're dead center. Now you can do a level line. You don't have to put a pitch on it unless you want to, but I always do a level line because the shelf, the weight is in the front. It tends to sink down in the front a little bit, which gives a decent amount of pitch for water runoff. All right, next thing you want to do, this is a 9-inch shelf. I like to mark 8 3/4 just so I don't cut past that mark. And we're going to want an anchor in the front and in the back. So I just kind of mark center of where I want to plunge into the wall. So you have to use an angle grinder. This is a continuous rim diamond blade made for cutting tile, ceramic tile, porcelain, stuff like that. I'm just going to hold it level, start at my center mark, and plunge into the wall. I'm going to do that on all 4 spots where we need an anchor and plate. So here we go with the first one. Alright, so we got all the channels cut. Next, what I like to do is, before we glue the anchors, I like to just stick them in the wall, make sure they go in halfway. And as you can see, that's halfway in. Check all your cuts. And they all look good. And now you can peel your tape. Get your adhesive. If you want, you can sometimes dampen the anchors. I know that this is like Gorilla Glue. So it's a polyurethane glue which expands. Now trust me on this, you do not have to use a whole lot. Like literally, if you can see that, just a tiny bit. Since this glue expands, if you use too much, it's going to push out the edges of the shelf and you're going to have a lot of cleanup to do. And I'm just doing the half that goes in the wall first. And then when we're ready to install the shelf, we'll put the glue in the channel of the shelf. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this off, and I'll come back to you when we're ready to put the shelf in. Alright, so I got all the anchoring plates in the wall. Next we're going to get the shelf. You can see the channel that's cut in the back of the shelf. I personally like to do the entire channel, but you probably could just go where the anchoring plates are going to go. But I think it's stronger if you do the whole channel, because once the glue expands, it expands the entire cut that was made in the shelf. Again, you don't have to use a whole lot here. I put a little in, I kind of let it drip back into the depth of the channel. You see already some here wants to drip out. You just take a rag, take the excess off. Line it up with the anchoring plates. That's it. Now sometimes the shelf itself will feel a little loose. And trust me, once all the glue expands and dries up, that's going to go away. So you just want to make sure it's tight to the back of the wall. If your wall is out of square, you can kind of just split the difference, this one's out of square just by a little bit, so I'm just going to split the difference a little. And that's it. You can see it's already really strong. And once everything dries up, we'll use like a grout or a grout caulk to finish the edges. Another thing I like to do while the glue is drying, use painter's tape and stay about 1/16 of an inch away from the shelf itself. That way, if any glue expands, it'll expand out onto the painter's tape, but you do that all the way around. And it'll make cleanup a little bit easier. The kit comes with a single edge razor, so I usually let the glue dry for about 3 hours. Anything that expands out, I just cut it and scrape it off. Once it's dry, it comes off pretty easily. So that's it. I'll come back to you when we're ready to move forward. All right, so I just want to quick show you what I did here. I just put blue tape all the way around. That way, when the glue kind of foams up and comes out the edges here, it just makes the cleanup a little easier. I also, I'm on a job site and there was a gallon of paint I put on there just to kind of put a little weight on it as it dries. Like I said, the shelf naturally pitches for water runoff as long as you do everything level. I can show you that too later with a level. So there you go. All right, so today we're going to test the weight for the GoShelf. First, I'm going to weigh myself. 231. Now I'm going to go up on the GoShelf here. There we go. And you can see that's just the GoShelf system, the way it's regularly anchored. There's nothing underneath the shelf. So 231 pounds.